Hey guys, what's up? It's CJ from Go Travel and Talk and welcome back to our video travel guide series. This time I am taking you to Albania and one of Europe's most beautiful hikes. The hike is between two alpine villages in the Albanian Alps between Theth and Valbonë along an old mules trail. It is off the beaten path, it is very quiet and it is a completely unique experience. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to plan, book and enjoy your trip, as well as what to pack and what you can expect. So settle in, grab a cuppa and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about this hike is that you can only do it at certain points of the year. So during the winter, the Alps are completely covered in a beautiful blanket of snow and it's very, very dangerous to walk along the trail. So you want to be aiming anytime between May and September to get their kind of spring, summer vibes to enjoy the trail. Timing wise, it will take you anywhere between 6 and some people 10 hours. There are some shady spots, but most of it is out in the bright sunshine. So just make sure you look at the weather and you plan your trip accordingly. Okay, another thing you need to know is that whilst the hike is only one day or only between 6 or 10 hours, you actually need about 4 days to complete this hike. And the reason being is that it's called the 3-day loop because of the transport either side to get you to the starting point of that trek. So just factor that in. Another thing is that you can start in either Theth or Valbonë. It doesn't matter, you can hike either way. But my top tip for you is to start your hike in Valbonë and finish it in Theth. And the reason I say that is because in Valbonë, there's literally nothing there. Just your guest house on the side of a kind of road, and then you start hiking from there. However, it is this beautiful village in the middle of the mountains. And if you wanted to add on an extra day of hiking, you can explore the Blue Eye, which is this magical blue pool of water jewel in the middle of the mountains. And it is really something else. Okay, so here is how I did it. I flew into Tirana airport and we got a taxi from Tirana to Shkodër. I hope I'm pronouncing these right, probably not, so I'm really sorry if I'm not. And in Shkodër, there really is only one place to stay, and I owe my entire trip to this incredible place. And it's called Camping Legjenda. And it is basically a hostel, campsite, restaurant, swimming pool, a bit of everything basically, in Shkodër and at the base of this beautiful mountain. And it is due to the owner of Camping Legjenda and her daughter Lauren that made the trip exactly what it was. So I'm going to take you through exactly what they told me. So when you eventually go on this trip and hopefully go and stay with them, they can help you plan your trip as well. So from their hostel to our first stop, so we had 3 days. We took a jeep from Shkodër to the beginning of the Kamani Lake. We got a ferry across the Kamani Lake. We then got a jeep to the starting point of our trek in Valbonë, and we slept that night in this beautiful guest house, and then we started our trek the next day. We trekked from Valbonë to Theth, and we got another night's accommodation in Theth as well as our dinner. The next day we then walked to the Blue Eye, and from the Blue Eye on the road we got a jeep back to Shkodër. And all of that, €90 for everything, for absolutely everything. And it's hands down one of the most beautiful trips I have taken to date. Okay, so when I came to Albania, I actually brought this bag with me. It's 33 litres. You can absolutely take this on the trek with you, but you don't need to take everything with you that you perhaps had on your first night in Albania if you're just going for this trek. So what I did is I left this in the locked store cupboard at Camping Legjenda, and I had a small backpack again. This wasn't the exact one I had, but it's the same size. You really don't need much because you basically wear the same thing all the time. You need shorts and t-shirt during the day, and you need leggings and a jumper at night because it does get a little bit cold. One of my biggest tips on the packing list side is to take a camel pack with you, and you can fit it in your bag, and then you can see here the straw comes out of here, so you don't have to keep opening your bag to get your water bottle out. You can just have the straw and your water pack in your backpack. Okay, so on your first morning when you're in Camping Legjenda in Skoda and you're leaving to get to the Kamani Lake, you're leaving at 5:30 to 6 a.m. in the morning. The Jeep will take you to the Kamani Lake, which takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And then you're on that ferry then for about 3 hours. And it is incredible. You can sit on the top deck of the ferry, so you can breathe it all in, these magical mountains as you pass through them, and the calm waters and the sunshine. It's so magical. It's a really nice experience to start the kind of trip. It does get a little bit chilly at points, so I would say just take a little jacket with you, which hopefully you've packed anyway, because it gets cold at night in the mountains when you're doing your hike. If you are a solo traveller, I promise you will meet people either at Camping Legjenda or you'll meet them on the ferry. So at the end of your ferry ride, you're then picked up ready and waiting by the ferry port by a Jeep, and you're taken to your guest houses in Valbonë. Okay, so when you arrive at your guest house, it will probably be about 3 p.m. or about 2 p.m.-ish. And I will tell you now, there is nothing to do in Valbonë. You can have a little walk along the road to get to the shop, which is essentially a shack. And there is a couple of bars alongside the road. That's what we did. We sat down with the people that we'd met, and we had a really nice couple of drinks and put some music on. And we played some card games when we got back to the guest house, and we had a really nice communal dinner, and the food is incredible and there is plenty to go around. But it's early to bed because you are up again early in the morning to start your hike. Okay, so it's an early day and an early start for you. You are up at about 5:30, 6 for breakfast, about 6:15, and you're on the road latest at 6:30. And the reason being is because you want to beat the midday sun, because it gets very, very hot during the summer months. This is a completely unguided tour, so you're out there and doing it yourself, but the route is really, really well marked with different arrows for different routes that you can do. You just need to keep an eye out for them. And if you get really stuck, use Maps Me. That's what I did, and it got me through perfectly.
We're at the start of the Valbonë hike. Guys, how are you feeling? Hey Anna, Jane, Big D. Are you feeling raring to go?
You'll be surrounded by incredible scenery and mountains and bright blue skies. It is incredible. It makes me emotional thinking about it, because when people call it Europe's most beautiful hike, they are not wrong. It is, yeah, it's mesmerizing. And what you're essentially doing is getting up to one of the higher mountains, so you get this 360-degree view of everything around you. It took us 2.5 to 3 hours to reach the peak that we were getting to. But sometimes it takes people a little bit longer, sometimes people are quicker. It's completely at your own pace, which is one of the beauties of doing a self-guided tour. You can leave your backpack at the bottom whilst you do that final ascent to get that incredible view over the valley. Once you've spent some time up there and breathing it all in, it is then time to walk back down. On the side of the Theth side, it's like another world again. It constantly hits you with different scenery and different landscapes. So when you first get to Theth, when you're down the Theth side, you will instantly see a cafe just as you finish your hike, which is such a welcome relief. You can get yourself a nice cold drink, maybe take your boots off if they're hurting you a little bit, and the locals are super, super friendly. You can get yourself some food as well. We just relaxed for a little bit before we headed to our next guest house, which was about a 15-minute walk into the village of Theth. As I said, is this incredible alpine village in the middle of the mountains. It's like right at the bottom with all these mountains around you. And then you basically have a whole day of just chilling in Theth. And we got to the afternoon and we thought we'd go for a little bit of a walk around, and we met this crazy local called Thomas, and he invited us in to join him at his bar and to try some of the local Albanian spirit. And oh my god, this thing should come with a warning. It literally knocks your socks off. I think we probably had a couple, and then within an hour we were all up on the tables dancing with Thomas and learning how to do these Albanian dances, and all the locals came to join us, and it was a really magical experience. It was one of those pinch me moments. If you do go to Theth, make sure you ask for Thomas's bar if you're looking for a bit of a unique experience. Dinner is at 6 p.m, again, where you all sit down and have a communal style dinner, and then I would suggest getting early to bed, because if you want to, the next day you can check out the Blue Eye, which is something else.
We're on our second day of hiking and we are walking to the Blue Eye, which is this massive like sinkhole and water and river, and it is hot. But look at this. So beautiful.
Okay, so from your guest house in Theth, the Blue Eye is about a 3-hour walk. And yes, your legs are a little bit tired from your 17 kilometers the day before, but push through because it is totally worth it. Again, you'll walk through incredible scenery over these random bridges, through valleys. And then when you come up to the top, you will be hit by the Blue Eye. The Blue Eye is this magical pool of water in the middle of the mountains, and it's freezing. You can swim in it, but it is freezing. Yeah, it really takes your breath away. It is definitely the more touristy side of the trip, because it's a small area and there are a lot of people that want to see it. But I 100% recommend that you check it out, because it will leave you speechless like it did with me.
Hey guys, what's up? So we are literally 200 meters from the Blue Eye, and wait till you see this. I'm so excited to show you. Here it is. That right there is the Blue Eye.
So the next part of your trip is really dependent on where you're going and what you want to do next. You can go back to your guest house in Theth and stay for another night and go back to Skoda either later that day or the next day, and you can get a Jeep to come and pick you up. Or because we had to get our flight that night, what we did was we met a Jeep at a halfway point between our guest house and the Blue Eye, and they took us all the way back to Skoda. Okay, packing list. You need good walking boots and socks, definitely. A really good day pack that you can take on the hike with you. You need vests and t-shirts, and you also need jumper and fleece and trousers for later that night. I would also take a pair of flip-flops or sandals with you, so when you are walking around your guest house, you have something on your feet, because it is a bit sticky and hot during the day. Thing I need to let you know is that you can take lek or euros, but they prefer Albanian lek when you're on the trips, and cash is absolutely king. Okay, some of my top tips, and you can find all of these and more on the website, so definitely do check out that blog post that we've got on this. I would suggest writing down the name and address of your 2 guest houses that you're staying at on a piece of paper, not on your phone, on a piece of paper, because when you need to show the Jeep driver where they're taking you, you can then show him that in Albanian, because they don't speak very good English. There is absolutely no Wi-Fi in the Albanian Alps. So if you're desperate to contact people whilst you're out there, invest in a data plan or a SIM card. But I would say just get offline and enjoy yourself. This was undoubtedly one of the most incredible things I've ever done, and not only just for the scenery and the landscape and the local experience, but also it's so cheap and it's so good for a budget traveller, and you meet the most incredible people along the way. So all the information is on our website under our Theth to Valbonë blog post, so please check it out. Remember, if you want to see more of our video travel guides, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel or keep watching us on our Instagram and as well as our Facebook. And we always publish new articles and blog posts on our website, so make sure you are checking that out regularly. As always, I'm here if you have any questions, so please DM us via our social media channels. I'll pop all the links below, or send us a message via our website. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.